Hello everyone. Today is the birthday of Magnus Carlsen, the world champion, and we decided to share some of the mysterious moves of Magnus Carlsen. If I have missed out any, please let me know in the comments. Let's look at the first example. This is a game between Magnus Carlsen and Michael Adams, and this happened in 2007. This is very special, but I'll get to why it is so special to me. Let's look at this position. And here Magnus Carlsen played knight to d2. First instance, you will really not know what's the idea, but it will be clear in a moment. After knight d2, opponent played rook c2. Michael Adams saw the opportunity to put his rook to the 7th rank and he made use of it. And then after rook b1, rook a c8, now rook c1 is threatened. So Magnus had seen this beforehand. He played knight b3 to prevent rook c1, and after bishop c4 comes the idea. The mystery behind knight d2 is knight a1. So you see that the knight in the corner is able to do so much. Now the rook has to move, and if not, then he has to do some counterplay. So Adams decided to play bishop a2, and then after knight takes c2, bishop takes b1, knight a1 again. Keeping that c2 square in control, Magnus continued the game. Now in this position, there is another mysterious move which I like very much. I'm going to that position now, and it's after rook to b1. Now in this position, he plays rook b1. Seems like the rook is not really doing anything, but he's getting ready so that if knight takes c3 happens, then b takes c3 opens the eyes of the rook. Okay, but I'm going to show you the critical moment. After rook b1, king f8, the move that I like, or the idea that I like, which is mysterious at once, is bishop e1. The idea is that after king e7, he went for king g1. Very beautiful, because he wants to play bishop from e1 to f2. So Magnus is very good at spotting these little improvements for his pieces, which look mysterious at once, but once you know the idea, you will be able to appreciate the beauty of that idea. So this is the idea, and after bishop f2, he managed to win. He converted this game. Now why this is special to me? It's because I used this in my own game against Gahan when I was playing a state championship. You see, this happened in 2011, and after my opponent played bishop c4, I did the Magnus Carlsen move, king g1. Idea being, after king c8, I went bishop f2. This time I want to go bishop e1. So I brought back my king so that I could make room for the bishop to attack on a5, and there is nobody to defend that because this knight has to be on d5 to take care of this d6, and that's how I won the game. So I won the pawn after knight f6, bishop b6. I won the pawn because now he gave away the square for me. Anyway, I was going to play bishop e1. So that was just a nice memory I have that I was able to execute. So that's the part about looking at the games of masters. You can implement them in your own games as well. Alright, so with that, let's go on to the third example. So I just showed you the moment of king g1 and also knight d2 and knight a1. Let's look at the next game. The next game is between Jan Smits and Magnus Carlsen. Magnus Carlsen was black here. And in this position, he played move queen f7. Now this is the start of a very nice journey. After queen f7, the knight is attacked. So you might feel that, okay, the knight is attacked, so c4 seems normal, and his opponent did that. But in this position, after c4, Magnus Carlsen played the spectacular rook b3, and now you know why this queen f7 has multiple ideas. After queen f7, rook b3, you cannot really take, because if you take, there is queen takes f2 and the back rank mate follows. So rook b3 happened, and now after rook e1, he played bishop h4 to provoke g3, and after g3, he played rook f3. So in just a matter of 3 moves, the rook, which was doing nothing which is just being there on b8, is now coming to b3 and f3. So again, the move queen f7 seems very normal, but the mystery behind it is that he wants to, do this Alekhines gun. It's not really Alekhines gun because the queen is in between, but somewhat similar. And then he went on to win the game. The final combination is very pleasing. So after rook e3, he played hg3, hg3. I'm now showing you the final combination. Rook g3. King g3 is not possible because it's mate in 2. You can see. And then rook h8 follows, followed by rook h1. And in the game, he played knight g3, queen h6, queen g4, and then came a combination. Maybe take a moment to figure out what you would do as black. Okay, I'm going to reveal the answer now. He played rook takes g3, removing the guard. So h1 is no longer supported. So after queen g3, he played queen h1, which is a mate after queen g1. So that was the game of Jan Smits, and Magnus Carlsen found this queen f7, rook b3, rook f3, which I liked very much. So time to go to the next example. The next example is a game between Magnus Carlsen and Sergei Karyakin, and Carlsen was white. So here the move queen h1 is what I like. Now why I like queen h1? Because it's very rare to put your queen on h1, and as you go through the next example you will know why I appreciate this move so much. So after queen h1, he's trying to attack this knight on d5 by playing king g1. A very creative way indeed. And then he later went on to exchange the queens. For example, after this he played king h2 and then played queen h3, and then he slowly squeezed his opponent. Now there is another example related to this theme which happened this year. This was Carlsen versus Vitigov Nikita. This was the position. After knight f5, queen c7, do you see how Magnus was able to bring queen h1 again? Yes, he played g3, and then after knight went back to e6, he played queen h1. There is nobody to defend this. For example, if black plays something like king h7, there is bishop takes e6, fe6, and then bishop g5 coming. So this is just one of the many continuations. You can directly play knight h6 and bishop g5 also. d8 hanging, h6 hanging. So again, that was the magic of queen h1. And now the next example is very special because it has the elements of what I just showed you. Okay, let's go to the next example. So the next example is between Veselin Topalov and Magnus Carlsen, where Magnus Carlsen was black. I'm straight away going to the critical position after queen h5, and here Veselin Topalov played g4, attacking the queen. And now it must be clear to you that the move is queen h8. Now this is one of the most beautiful moves of Magnus Carlsen according to me. I like it because it's very aesthetic. You will know why. After queen h8, the idea is to go knight h7, guys. After knight h7, Veselin Topalov played queen h2, and now he goes rook fb8. So all this was part of the plan, okay? When Magnus played queen h8, he had seen all this. So he is clearing the way for a very nice idea. So after rook fb8, c4, queen d8. So this is the idea of playing queen h8. You move the rook, you move the knight, and you play queen d8, and then after knight e3, bishop g5. So he has improved the position of his pieces tremendously. And after bishop g5, queen e2, he goes bishop f4, again vacating the square g5 for the next piece to come. And after knight g2, he played bishop g3, and then after queen e3, he went knight g5. So this was the plan he had in his mind with his mysterious move queen h8. And then after king f1, there comes the nice little end. He played queen h8, to which Topalov resigned. So after queen h8, his idea is queen h1. So if you play something like rook takes 8, he'll just say rook takes 8. And if you play something like rook b1, then there is rook a2 coming. And if this queen moves anywhere, then there is queen h1 coming. For example, if you play queen d3, then there is simply queen h1 picking the knight. So there are too many threats, and that is the reason Topalov resigned. So I like this beautiful maneuver. So after queen h8, he got his knight, he got his rook here, queen to d8, bishop g5, bishop f4, then knight g5, and then queen h8 again. So those were my picks, and I would call them mysterious. But then once you know the idea, you will be able to appreciate the idea behind those beautiful moves. So with that, I am going to say bye bye to you. I hope you watched and I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you. I'll be back again with another one. Till then, take care. Bye bye.